This looks serious.
Yo, my whole family said I got fat.
A word?
It's like I walked in the door and that's all anybody had to say.
Was it true though?
What?
Did you get fat? How much weight did you gain since the last time they saw you?
Like 20 pounds.
So it was true.
It's true. All of it's true.
But why you got fat? You got a thyroid problem or something?
No.
So this ain't even medical.
It's not. It's not medical. I ain't been doing shit. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't been doing shit, but I don't know. I've been eating and I ain't been working out. Work's been busy. Just, regular shit. Life. They are valid. I did gain weight. You're right, Dr. G. I gotta pull it together. I can't be out here letting everybody clown me.
Back in my day, I used to be chubby.
What?
You know what I did? I went to the gym.
I just
came back, fucked everybody up.
I don't want to fuck anybody up. I just want them to stop talking shit about me.
Nah. Sometimes you gotta fuck people up. Keep your options open.
Okay.
Yo, back in my day, when your family keep it real with you, motherfuckers got real mad. But in the end, motherfuckers said thank you.
Why do they gotta say that? Why can't they just...
They trying to help you.
You right.
Lose weight.
You say that like it's easy. Losing weight is so hard.
Nah, being fat is hard. You gotta get 2 tickets on a plane sometimes. And when you go out to eat, you gotta pay more.
It's true.
Cause you real hungry. Then you got the medical bills. Yo, shit's crazy. Shit's crazy. Don't get me started. My man, you soft. You ain't got no real problems. All you gotta do is go to the gym.
Okay.
You gonna be alright.
You're right, Dr. G. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now get up out of here.
Thank you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Diamond Rivera, and we are back. This is the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast. This here is episode 162. You can find this podcast Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and also other streaming platforms. And what you just saw was an amazing skit by our featured guest today. And we have all the way from the boogie down Bronx, comedian, writer, content creator, the list goes on. We have the one and only Jasmine Ruiz, aka Slay with Jazz.
What's up, Diamond?
What's up, Jazz? Listen, at that we talked earlier, you was like, hey, if you need to cut my stuff short, do it now. That skit itself was on the money. But first of all, Jasmine, really want to appreciate you and thank you for coming to the platform today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. I mean, hey, you from New York, a fellow New Yorker myself, realizing what a platform like I have and it's growing, it's really important for me to reach out to fellow content creators and really help people understand their story because we know 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 3 minutes doesn't tell a whole story.
No.
And realizing as well, researching yourself and seeing how far back your content goes, I think it's really important to shed light on it, but also allow you to tell your story before someone else can tell it.
Thank you. I'm excited to tell it.
Absolutely. So, as we get started on every podcast that I have with many episodes, it's important, of course, we're going to highlight, the Instagram success, TikTok, the viral content you have, but it's way more important to kind of take it all the way back, help us understand really who Jasmine Ruiz is and to the heart of it before we get into the hype of it all.
Right. Okay, cool. Let's just take it back.
Oh, yes. So tell us, who is Jasmine Ruiz before SlayWithJas?
Before SlayWithJas, who's Jasmine Ruiz? I mean, I've always had like a really big personality.
Mm-hmm.
So that never changed. All that changed was that like I decided to display it on the internet.
Yeah.
So that was always there. Before that, I mean, I was in school, you know, I worked really hard on academics. I always grew up like kind of a little bit of a nerd in the sense that like I'd always rather read books than run around outside. Not that I was never outside, okay? I was very active.
We outside.
We outside. But yeah, I love reading books. I actually really love school because I was always really good at it. I love to dance. Like growing up, like I would dance in my room for hours at night. My mom would be like, "What the hell are you banging in there?" Like I'm not banging anything. My feet are just hitting this floor. We working.
Yeah.
Like I'll put on J-Lo music videos and just dance to all of it. Yeah. So that was like that's a big part of everything too. Just like my formative years, like dancing was really important. And then as I got older, you know, typical high school stuff, like I always be in the beach, summertime.
Oh, are
Like
we talking about Orchard Beach right now?
yeah, Orchard Beach, typical New York City shit, Bronx shit. I'll be Orchard
Heinekens
Beach,
oh my,
walking up and down the boardwalk with my girl just to be cute. You know how that goes.
oh my God, man, it's amazing that you even going back talking about the beaches. So if we're gonna ask for people who don't know New York in the Bronx, what high school did you go to?
Okay, so I actually been to a few high schools.
Okay.
I actually went to high school for a year in Washington Heights. I went to G Dubs.
Oh, Lord.
I know. That was mad deep too from my house,
Yeah.
but you know, whatever. I went to that school. My boyfriend at the time went there. I was like, I'm gonna go to the same school as him. You know, I was traveling dumb far, like little crazy person. And then after that, I went to I had to leave that school because it was just too far. I wasn't having that.
Yeah.
And then I actually went to Pelham Prep in Columbus
Yes.
just for like a couple months. And then something happened there. So then I ended up going to Banana Kelly. So whenever anyone's like, oh, what high school did you go to? Like I rep Banana Kelly. That's like my number one thing.
Yeah.
It was on Longwood,
Yep.
Longwood and Beck around that area. And that's my school. That's where, you know, that's where it went down.
Oh man, see, like just that brings back memories. If we're gonna go back way back, that brings back Skonex memories.
Skonex.
When we were searching people's high school.
Remember that was like in my brain.
Yeah, I'm taking because once you said all these different high schools, I'm like, that was the one site before MySpace that we was on, just looking at different people.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, I think it's really important. Of course, we highlighted, you know, kind of that history in the Bronx because you just say the Bronx and people have all these assumptions. And for me, being a New Yorker, being from Manhattan, I lived in Harlem, but I went all the way to St. Raymond's. So that's Parkchester. Felt like the Warrior.
St. Raymond's. I mean, listen, we all know the most popular ones. St. Raymond's. You got Lincoln. You got
Lehman.
Lehman. That's what I meant to help say. Lehman, Steve-O.
Yeah.
You know?
Just right. But for me, I would definitely say another thing why I really love your content, as we talked as well, how genuine you are. And I mean that truly because being from New York, a lot of the nuances, a lot of the skits and sketches that you have are so relatable to us. And that's what's most important because it's easy to go into more of the mainstream route and just, you know, hit topics that just happen, whether it's Megan Thee Stallion, etc. But when you can kind of bring it back home and give us themes when we're talking about the COVID, with the vaccine, or we're talking about Thanksgiving, you know, the list goes on. I think that right there helps me realize how different you are. So like,
thank you.
A question I have, of course, you growing up in the Bronx, what was that really like for you? Of course, besides high schools and everything that entails, what was it like for you growing up in the Bronx?
So for me, you know, it's crazy because like as a girl, girls and boys are different. Like my brother was allowed to be running around outside like that. I really wasn't allowed to be running around outside like that. It's just different. So, you know, up until I was like 14, growing up in the Bronx was really like that. I was just going to school, coming home, and then, you know, I do shit in the house, go to maybe one of my friend's house in the building. When I was growing up, my mom had this friend. We would always be in her house. And you know, it was like it was house shit. Like the Bronx was in my house, you know, like I wasn't out there running the streets. I simply was not allowed to be out there running the streets. Once I hit
like my teenage years, then, you know, I had suddenly all this freedom opened up and my mom like really trusted me. I was lucky she wasn't mad strict like that. So I would always go to like my best friend's house at the time. We'd be at like down in Hunts Point.
Yep.
You know, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, my mom was crazy. I wouldn't let myself be out here. But you know, whatever. We was out there like hanging out, running all over the place, looking around, doing the window shopping. Go to the 99-cent store, spend $30 for no reason, you know, shit like that.
Right.
I would always be going to the beach. I spent a lot of time in Washington Heights because I was dating somebody that lived up in Washington Heights at the time. So I feel like I spent so much time over there. And yeah, my Bronx experience was a mix of like running around, you know, doing little shopping because I had a job. So if I like had my little money, I'm like, oh, yo, where we out to? You want to go shop in Hunts Point? Want to go shop at Fordham? You know, and going to the beach. It was summertime. There was no school. Wanted to get a tan and look good. You know what I'm saying? Of course, little parties, X Bar, Mi Gente Cafe.
God.
You know, like typical things like that. Like that's that Bronx shit.
Oh my God, right there in West Fordham, right on the highway.
Yes, right by the highway.
Oh my God, X Bar. Oh wow, Jimmy's Cafe. We talking. Oh yeah, all in Castle Hill. Yeah, I definitely remember those times. But it seems just even talking about it, it kind of brings back those memories. So you know, you growing up in the Bronx, and then after high school, of course, kind of now getting into, when did that introduction really into content creation start for you?
So I've always had like an online presence. Like I had an Instagram. I was not using Instagram as like a tool because I didn't have like this idea of like, okay, I want to be like this thing and I'm going to start like, you know, I was younger. I was just more so living and not really like strategizing and things like that. Once I graduated from college in 2015, and I started working in 2016, it's like once I got this job and like, oh my God, I'm in corporate America, and it's suddenly like I had a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
Right. So I had a bunch of friends that I had been making at the job because we were like in this training program, and you know, being around so many people and having a really boring commute, I took to Instagram to like just give me something to do. So on my way to work, I would always make funny videos. And as I was at work, we were doing a lot of different things. So we'll go to like, let's say we went to the Calvin Klein office to go see their showroom. Like those are things that I wanted to talk about online. So I would make little videos, kind of like vlogging, but like just more like commentary, just giving commentary about everything happening throughout the day. You know, it wasn't like, oh, look at this New York City. Nah, it was like, yo, look at this. You know? And then, after like a year working and making like this daily content like that, I was like, you know, this 9 to 5, like is really not my thing. I want to make content. And so I started the Daily Dose of Slay.
Yes.
And that's like, I would say that solidified the moment that I was like, all right, I have a thing. I've given it a name. It is my Daily Dose of Slay. And that started in 2016.
Wow. And then we even talked about as well, Slay, that term, of course, you know.
Yeah, once Slay came out, I was like, oh, this was made for me. You know, like who saw me and said, Slay?
Yeah.
You know, I was like, okay, I'm slaying.
Oh my God. So then you creating the Daily Dose of Slay podcast, how was that experience for you? Because going from just doing simple things on Instagram, when Instagram was only 15 seconds.
I know.
And then it turned into 30, then it turned into a minute. But how was that experience of actually having your own podcast and running that?
So I really loved it. It's crazy because in 2016, when I started my job, and I started meeting new people and making new friends at work, they would be like, yo, you should have a podcast. I didn't even know what podcast was at the time. I was like, what are you talking about? But I listened to podcasts on my way to work. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, whatever. I like kind of just wrote it off. And then, you know, in 2017, I started my podcast. And that came from making a lot of Instagram stories and Instagram segments. I had like cubicle talk where I'll be talking at work with my friends at work, like in our cubes about whatever the topic of discussion was for the day. You know, I had like my basic bitch coffee segment where I got this
expensive coffee and complained about it until I switched it over to my cart coffee segment because I couldn't afford that anymore. And so once I had all these segments and I was like, no, I should do a podcast. Like I'm always on my stories, you know, giving my opinion, talking about something, asking people questions. A lot of people are engaging with me. So, you know, let me just start a podcast. So I just started a podcast and I really enjoyed doing that. I liked having a space where I could like say whatever I want and then go add all my funny sound effects later. And that was like just really fun for me. It felt like doing my IG stories and just doing it in like a more comedic way because I could add sound effects and stuff like that. So it was like, oh, you know, I got a radio show out here. We out here. And I liked having guests and things like that. And then I kind of just stopped after a while. I didn't have the same passion. I loved doing that. I like creating content. It just, after like a year and a half to 2 years, it didn't feel like that was the platform in which I wanted to create anymore. I was a little frustrated not having a co-host and, you know, I'm a really social person. Also, I know that I'm really good on video. So I wanted to be on video and it felt like it had run its course and I felt like I was ready to do the next thing.
And that's interesting because, and it's something that we'll talk about a little later, of creating content for you for others to appreciate rather than creating content for others. And that's
I can never create content for other people because I don't know what's in everybody's head. So all I know is what's in my head. All I know is my lived experiences. All I know is, you know, what's going to make me laugh. And different people create for different reasons. You know, it's kind of like rapping, right?
Yeah.
Some people rap because they have a message they want to put out there, like J. Cole. You know, he feels something in his heart, in his soul, and he's like, yo, I got to put this on paper. I got to share this with the world. Okay. That's how I feel about my content. It's like, if I have an idea, I'm like, yo, God, that's really funny. Like I have a strong association with that. You know, I want to laugh about that. I want to put that information out there, you know, and then you have people that take the other route. Some rappers are just like, oh, yo, I'm a rapper about my cars, my bitches and money and cars. You know, they're just rapping about what they think people want to aspire to have. And they don't really have a message. And then you have content creators that, you know, they might be creating comedic content that's just on trend with other things, but like it doesn't have a message. And that I feel like is creating for other people and creating for what's cool. But I personally am of the belief that you should create for yourself, and whoever rocks with it is going to rock with it, and whoever doesn't is not going to rock with it, and that's fine. Then I don't need you here. But my content is created for me. It's very cathartic for me. Sometimes I'm mad about something and I'll take a really crappy situation and turn it into something funny for me as like my own therapy. So I think it's really important to just create for yourself. But everybody's different.
That is true. That is true.
I have to create for myself. And I think that's why everything comes off as authentic.
Yeah, because you being a comedian, a writer, and producer, right there, that trifecta, many people are really linear. Many people just have one niche and that's it. And when they need to go outside the box, that's when you really see their creativity. I would say my first really introduction to you, even though of course you at one point you had your professional dance training that you had, was also the content creation you've done with some people in East Harlem, Spanish Harlem, with Mark Rain, with Ken Stars, and that route. So how was that experience for you, working with people like that and having that type of content creation?
So that was like super fun for me. So I went to this event, and the event was hosted by Ferris Wheel J, and I met Rose at that event. I am Black Rose. And I really just hit it off with her. And I'm like, oh, this girl's cool. You know, I really liked her. She was funny. She was really good vibes. And then after that event, I followed her. I liked a bunch of her stuff. And I just like, oh, wow, she creates content with Mark. Oh, wow, she's creating content with people.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they will want to create content with me too. So I hit up Mark to do a video. And then I had one to do a video with him. And it was just really cool, like meeting other people that were interested in the same thing. So I was really grateful that I got to meet her and Mark and Ken. And I appreciate being around people who, one, take their craft seriously and they are good at what they do, but also people that never give up. You know, I feel like there's like so many, especially being on TikTok, so many people are so young And I really like seeing people that are like my age and older still out here doing it, getting after their dreams, like
Yeah.
and doing a damn good job at it. So yeah, it was great finally meeting people because, I had also been in a space where I had been creating content for years, like by myself.
Hmm.
And it felt nice to finally meet other people that had similar interests.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was really dope.
Nice. And then the question I have with that kind of pertaining into working with a group,
Mm-hmm.
because some people are great working with groups, some people are really more focused on working solo and
Yeah.
kind of maybe feeding off of people. But how do you kind of take that in of going from the route of one point just making content for you
Mm-hmm.
or making content directly just with you, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of foreshadows what you're doing now, but
Mm-hmm.
then working with a group of people? Is it kind of just seamless?
It was for me. It was pretty seamless. It's like playing baseball by yourself, and then suddenly people are like, "Oh, I'll pitch to you." It's like,
Mm,
"Oh, all right, we in business, we out here." So it was like it was very seamless for me because the more creative minds, just the more juices you have flowing for
mhm.
creativity, and it was nice, like creating things. And somebody like, "Oh, let's switch it over like this." Like Mark
Yeah.
told me he got this like method where he goes. And like
Yeah.
that, and then he starts the next video doing the same thing, and it's like a really cool transition, like stuff like that. Like I like seeing other people's ideas, or like, oh, we could get this angle like this, or
Mm,
oh, what if we set it like this, or what if we add this hat, I don't know, whatever it is. It's really a good feeling being around other people that have good ideas.
yeah.
It just gives you more to work with, more to bounce off of, and you're just going to make greater content.
That definitely is special because
Yeah.
especially on Instagram, I mean,
Hmm.
when people look at for me, I guess living in that area, being from that area, and then seeing people that look like me creating
Hmm.
content that now is going viral, that was really important for me because it's easy to do the LA thing. Just go to
Hmm.
LA and find a connection, go from there.
Yeah.
But seeing people like you, Black Rose, Ken, Mark Rain,
Hmm.
providing content that like is so relatable instead
Hmm.
of like that's not Harlem. You went to Brooklyn and said it was Harlem. No, you actually were in Harlem doing the content.
Yeah.
That was meaningful. So, what I really want to tap into now is something that I've done some research on was at one point you had a professional dance journey. You had I
Hmm.
really, I researched a lot. I appreciate it as being a former professional dancer for years and
Yes.
understanding, how should I say, the accolades, but also realizing the sacrifices that
Yeah.
I had to make. But from your perspective, how was that journey for you?
So dance was an amazing journey. So growing up, I like always dance. I was always on a dance team. And it's just something that like I always grew up thinking, I'm gonna be in JLo's video, like I'll be dancing with her, the queen.
Hmm.
And as I got older, once I hit college, I went down this like academic route.
Yeah.
And then after working for a few years, I'm like, oh my God, like I miss dance. So then I was like, you know what? I just go hard for things. Pikachu said, nah. I go hard for things. So I was like, I'm gonna go hard and I'm gonna be a dancer. And I started on this journey to be a professional dancer.
Mhm.
And I joined Urban Dance League with Aunt Boogie. It's a great
Yes.
program. It's a competitive training program. So you compete and you learn different styles of dance with different choreographers. It's really great. And I wanted to eventually like put that onto video because I am a creator as well.
Yeah.
So just dancing was not enough for me. So I started the Hustle Hard Dance vlog, where I was documenting my journey to being a professional dancer.
Hmm.
And I did that from like 2019. And there was also like a whole season that I ended up not vlogging about, but
Yeah.
that's fine. I did it from 2019 up until quarantine happened. And that journey was so hard, so grueling, and it was
Hmm.
very like it forced me to be even more disciplined because I had a 9 to 5, so I'd like be at work. So I wake up, leave the house, let's say 7:30,
Yeah.
get at work at 9. So from 9 to 5, I was working. From like 5 to 6, sometimes I was still working, and then like from like 6:30, let's say to 7 something, I would eat dinner, and then I had like this dead time of like an hour and a half where I would just apply to creative jobs, like
at my office, just be applying to jobs. And then I'd go from my office. I would go to dance, get home at around midnight, sometimes later than midnight, go to sleep and do it all again. So it was just like literally like bam, 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 nonstop, like just go, 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 go. But the process taught me a lot about like what my limits are and just like how much I can get done in a day if I'm focused and if I am dedicated. And it also taught me how much I could get better with practice. Like I watched myself getting better like throughout that whole year, and plus like the beginning to the end of that, like it's like two different dancers. You see yourself and like, oh my God, like wow, I've grown so much. And it just shows you that like literally you could do anything. All it really takes is like hard work, practice, and sacrifice. Because I wasn't chilling, I wasn't seeing my friends, I wasn't out there having a bunch of fun. I was working, and when working, dancing, training, going to the gym on weekends, like it was a journey that like really toughened me up.
That is true, because many people that I know who've been to BDC, Broadway Dance Center, there are people that do that program of, you got to work and take as many classes as possible, but realizing even from them telling me they really have no life when it comes to your dancing. And if you have a job that's supplementing your dancing, great. And there should be nothing else in the way. But just like you said, the sacrifices of not seeing friends, maybe not going to family events that you wanted to go to, the list goes on.
Yeah.
I've honestly missed over 7-8 years of events I could have went to because I had a dream.
Yeah.
And, over the years, that dream slowly deferred. And then I realized, oh, this is becoming a job. And no longer it's something that is a part of me. Like I have the word dance tattooed on my back. But for me, dance has always been a part of my life. But I realized as I grew, it was a part of my life. It wasn't my life. Because, that's right there. I think
that is such a big distinction.
Yes.
To make that. And it's really like everyone comes to like a different point in their life where they have, not everyone has, I think, opportunity to make that because, it takes a lot of self-awareness to make that distinction. So what allowed you to make that distinction?
For me, when I realized that I was even forgetting family's birthdays when I realized I was on the road more than I was at home. And I was it was weird. I'm in the world moving, but I feel like I'm just like biker boy vision. And then I'm realizing I'm going to these events and performing, and it's cool, but it just becomes, just content. There's nothing different. And I realized actually this was maybe 2015, 2016, around the same time as you. I decided I wanted to transition into doing videography because I realized I love watching these dancers, but in my humble opinion, my biggest problem was how they were being captured. It wasn't just take an iPhone, point and shoot. For me, dancing 20 plus years, which is really a part of my life, I've watched dancers, I've studied them like coaches. So I said, let me get a camera, let me train, let me go to festivals, events, whatever it is, hone my craft, build that eye. And then I realized I had a gift because the way I could film someone gave me more joy and gratitude than sometimes me being on that stage.
Got you.
I realized many other people couldn't capture it the way I see it. And like you said, there's moments of what do I want to be 5 years from now? For me, I think the best decision I ever made was transitioning because, like you said, the toll it takes on your body. People don't realize, like dancers, this is a sport.
My God. Dancers are athletes. That's what my shirt says from UDL. Urban dancers are athletes.
Yeah. Like you said, people got to ice their legs. They got to ice their shoulders. So like their bodies are breaking down, give or take. You have until maybe, if you're really a structured dancer, hip hop dancer, give or take. Yeah. I've known somebody started at 18, by 32, 33. It was like, oh, my body feels like it's in its 50s. In a way. And it's like, because you didn't understand your body, or what you did was you ignored the signs that your body wanted to just rest. Because
also there's a lot of like
there's a lot to be learned about like how to
Yes,
take care of your bodies. There are dancers that have very long careers, but like their body routine is probably crazy. Whether it's icing the knees, taking ice baths every day, some people get cryotherapy.
yeah,
There's so many different things you could do, whether it's like going to a physical therapist, getting a massage. You don't know what someone's like body routine is,
it's true.
but there are so many different ways to like keep your body right. But a lot of people don't either know those ways or don't have access to those ways. Sometimes they
Yeah.
could be really expensive. Dance already is so expensive, like paying for training. So I feel like there's like a big miss in just educating people how to take care of their bodies. But I think, as you continue to perform, if you don't get
Mhm.
it and you don't learn how to take care of your body, it's really gonna do some damage.
It's true. And for me, I would say, lastly, with videography, it's been such a blessing being able to travel, but having people just come to me and say, thank you for filming this,
Yeah.
because it wasn't a job for me to film. I go to places and I have a certain job, but I'll step to the side and film something separate for
Hmm.
someone just because I see them enjoying themselves and just
Yeah.
having those moments. That's what means to me. So
Nice.
now understanding, of course, going from the professional dance journey and, like you said, quarantine hit.
Hmm.
Especially with COVID, when it comes to the arts program, dance programs, we've learned in life those are usually the first to go. But
Hmm.
I would say, especially in quarantine, those genres, those fields were some of the most hurt.
Yeah, big time. I
Yeah.
mean, performing arts and just entertainment was like bye, like that died overnight. Suddenly you didn't have Broadway shows, you didn't have same thing way you didn't have like sports events,
Yeah.
anything that required people coming together, especially dancing. Everyone's in a room sweating and breathing on top of each other. So those were definitely the first to go. And it really sucks because so many people really need those outlets.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people were able to, express that in their homes. Like myself, I took to TikTok and I was like, I'm gonna be dancing on TikTok. I went online and I got this online dance service. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn and do choreo from this. So I feel like for anyone that was not able to continue to do that, you had to find a way.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of dancers that found a way, because the world doesn't just stop. Granted, the world did just stop, but that doesn't mean that your world has to stop. And you know for me, like I was training a lot outside. I have so many TikToks like in the front of my house, just like going hard,
Yeah.
practicing training, or in my living room practicing training, like my backyard, whatever. I was like going all over the place,
Hmm.
just to make sure that like I was able to still get that in to keep me sane, because
Yeah.
quarantine was a killer. It
No,
really
hey.
was.
No, I agree, because I've seen it. Especially in my field in dance, I've seen many people now who are no longer here,
Hmm.
realizing they had to find a new outlet, because there are people that can thrive under a quarantine, like people
Hmm.
who, if they're by themselves, they're going to be okay.
The introverts.
The introverts. Give it
God,
up
I'm
for the
jealous of
introverts.
them.
Give a snap for the introverts. But the extroverts, those are the ones that I've seen that were just fiending for something. And I would say people like yourself and many other
Hmm.
content creators that I've seen were those outlets,
Yeah,
were that comfort.
yeah, and that's why I started on TikTok. Because it was like a place where people were hanging out and everyone was like making fun content, and it was like the brightest part of my day was like watching TikToks and laughing at people, and I was like, oh my god, this is where my people are. No one was trying to be cool. Simon, you still there?
Yeah, I'm
You
still
still
here. I
there?
can
Okay.
hear. Yeah,
No
you're
one
good.
was trying to be cool. Everyone was just trying to be funny. It was very lighthearted. It was very uplifting. And I was like, this is my people. God, I've been waiting for this platform for so long. And I had first created my TikTok back in like November of 2019. And I would post like a couple of like,
Mhm.
opinionated videos just talking about
Yeah.
something. But like I didn't really like dive deep into it because I didn't have time up until quarantine hit. And I was like, all right, I'm
Mhm.
not making long form content on YouTube. I'm not making my go to like traveling content
Mhm.
every day as I'm going to work. Like, I have nothing to do, no content to make because like nothing is actually happening.
Yeah.
So then I took the TikTok and
Mhm.
yeah, I started making funny content, and I felt like this was like the place where I belonged, and it was like the platform that was very it's just a platform that really spoke to me, and I felt like that was like my platform. And
Yeah.
I think it was because, I got so much success there, and it was working for me.
It's true, because when it comes to social media, you have your YouTubers, you have your
Mhm.
Instagrammers, you have your TikTokers, you have your Clubhouse people.
Mhm.
So I think for content creators, when they can find those outlets, like you capitalize on TikTok. Because like you
Yes.
said, you saw the demographic of who was going there. And it was
Mhm.
like, hey, this is where the place people are going to because, you know, if we're going to be real, when Trump was president, he hated TikTok. And now everybody wants to go to TikTok. So this is a perfect promotion. So
Mhm.
my question to you is, during quarantine and you creating your content, what was that like? With just everything going on, how was it really easy for you to just bring sketches out and skits out, or did it take some time?
No, it was so easy for me. It was so easy for me. I just went. I just went. I mean,
Mhm.
I got an idea. I'm like, oh, boom,
Yeah.
film this idea. Like it was like 1, 2, 3. I was like knocking these off like 10, 15 a day.
Wow.
I would go live sometimes. The minute that hit. Yeah, it was super simple for me because my mind was already going a mile a minute,
Yeah.
especially because it was so silent. Like when I say silent in quarantine, I mean like a lack of energy, of
Yeah.
movement, of anything happening. So just because that was not happening in the world doesn't mean my brain was the same way. No, my mind was still going, 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 and I still had all these thoughts and there's so many things I wanted to do and talk about.
Mhm.
So making videos was like it was I was like taking all the energy I would have used throughout the
Yeah.
entire day, and I was shoving it into videos. So it was very simple, very easy for me. And then I didn't start like actually writing until the summertime.
Mm.
Um, yeah, the first like skit that I sat down to write was called the Quarantine Series, and that was like that hands down to this day is my favorite thing I've ever done. It was the first thing I've done where that required me writing in and like writing, okay, this needs to be this shot, this shot, this shot.
Mm.
It was like my first, I would say, real production.
Okay.
And to this day, it's my favorite. Like, I think it's hilarious. And I think it's so wonderfully captures what the millennial struggle was during quarantine and, finally being solely by yourself and without happy hours and without talking to
Yeah.
your friends at work and without being around people. There were no distractions. But you still have to sit at this table and do
Mhm.
your job. And I think so many people, it was very eye opening for them. Like, I
Yeah.
hate my job. I hate what I'm doing. I hate my life. And what the hell am I going to do about this?
Yeah.
And so that is what the quarantine series was about. It was about like realizing that you don't like what you're doing and you need to make a change in your life. And yeah, I think so many people have that experience,
Yeah.
which of course is reflected today because so many people have quit their jobs and
Yes.
pursued entrepreneurial endeavors or
Mhm.
pursued making videos or being a personality and really kind of just chose their life over work and figure it out and find a way. But this is not the way. So I appreciate quarantine. Like for me personally, it really allowed me to realize that my north star, the place where I am like going,
Mhm.
is being a writer, comedian, producer, comedic actress. And it's not dance. That was like a passion
Yeah.
project. And so my focus is like what I have now completely like made my mind up and said, okay, this is what the hell I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely appreciate it because one thing I've always heard from comedians is their ability to have people laugh through pain,
Oh, it's
and
a
that,
must. It's a
yeah,
must. And that's also just a function of growing up in the struggle. You know what I mean? Like, you from
we
Harlem,
know.
I'm from the
We-
Bronx. A lot of people like growing up in like I don't know anybody that actually grew up in New York with money. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And not that that doesn't exist because it does, maybe in Midtown Manhattan or something. I don't know.
Yes.
But in the Bronx that wasn't really a thing. And if you don't have a lot of money to go out and do different things, then
Mhm.
you better have entertainment in your house, which came
Yeah.
from you. You better
Yes.
entertain yourself. So yeah, I grew up like, with like my brother's so funny. We had so many laughs together. My friends were funny and my brother's friends were funny. Like I just grew up around funny people that were always
Mhm.
making fun of things that were happening, whether they were negative or
Yeah.
whatever. And it just helps you get through everything.
That's true. I think that's really a New Yorker thing too. And many people I've
Yes.
seen come to us, they're like, "You guys are so harsh. You guys are so mean. You guys." I'm like, "No, we're just from New
We're
York. We don't like
kind.
bullshit."
We're just a little blunt. Like
Yeah.
you can't be soft. You, like I grew up so sensitive. So
Mm.
sensitive. I was a very I was a delicate flower. I'd be crying all the time. We all got bullied, but like different
Yeah.
kind of bully. Like people like, oh, you look like a boy or whatever. And my brother would be like, yo, stop being soft. Like, why are you so soft?
Yeah.
Like, like learn how to say shit back.
Yes.
And so that's where like roast culture comes in. Like either you're gonna end up crying because somebody's roasting you, or you're gonna
Yeah.
like be like,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you're gonna spit it right back. So yeah, I feel like New York makes you a little rough around the edges, but that's
Mhm.
like you need that to be here. Um, yeah, you need that.
It's true. It's true. Just like the saying they say in Brooklyn, a rose can grow through the concrete. Rose
Hmm.
grows in Brooklyn, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
for me, I would say meeting different content creators throughout New York. One thing that a lot of people, as you just said, is that tough skin, that resilience,
Hmm.
because it's easy to be rejected. It's
Yeah,
easy for a casting director to say, "Oh, you're not what we're looking for, but we'll keep in touch." People have heard
yeah.
that. Auditions, you think you
Hmm.
did amazing, but that one person didn't see something they wanted. But
Yeah,
the difference is you keep persevering and
yeah.
reinventing yourself
New
because,
Yorkers are also just mad confident like that though.
yeah.
Like people gas you up. Like you wear a hot outfit and you walk
Oh,
outside,
yeah.
people be like, yo, my
That's
man, where you
fire.
in. You know what I mean? So like growing up with that, like I was always so gassed. Even
Oh,
though I wasn't the cutest kid, but like and because people thought I was a boy, you ugly, whatever,
yeah.
kids are rude. But my mom really instilled into my head. She was like, "You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Yeah.
You could do whatever you want." Blah 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 blah. And like that was so real in my head that I thought everybody was crazy. I'm like, "Yo, ma, like these kids are crazy. They think I'm ugly. Like, what's wrong with them? Are they blind?"
Yeah.
And that's just like a really New York thing. Like Jadakiss said, no, I'm not cocky, I'm confident.
Yeah.
You're confident. That's some New York shit. And it doesn't matter if somebody's like, nah, and you get rejected. Okay, bye, bitch. We on to the
Exactly.
next one.
Exactly. Because I've been so many other cities that just the way I talk about situations are like, "Oh my God, how did you feel?" I'm like, "It's on to the next one. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
You can't cry over spilled milk."
You
I mean,
can't, you can't, you can't, and you can't be feeling some type of way because one person didn't see your worth. Like, all right, well, I don't know what glasses you missing, but I see it, so
yeah.
I'm gonna just keep it pushing. Somebody else gonna see it, and I think that like radical and delusional self
Mhm.
belief, I think, is what is always gonna take people far. Like Kanye got that delusional self belief, and I think that is a must
Mhm.
to really be successful and persevere because you're gonna get a million no's.
Yeah.
And if you let that no get in your head, you're like, I start second guessing myself,
Mhm.
and that's like a very human thing. But you
Yeah.
gotta be able to push past that. J. Cole talks about this in the warm up. I forget what song it is. I was listening to that whole mixtape yesterday. But yeah, it's human to second guess yourself, but you need to have enough self belief that like you're just gonna push past it.
It's true because we are our harshest critics. That's one thing
Yes,
I can say. And
that is true.
one thing I can definitely say as well. This year, you've been,
Hmm.
of course, pushing out content like never before. But there have been some pieces recently for Thanksgiving time that you've been just giving us some specialness. And for me, one in particular that I'll be playing in just a moment really hit
Hmm.
home. I grew up a little rough. I grew up with
Hmm.
my mom's a little aggressive. So, when she don't want your friends in the house,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want to listen. But, for me, before we get into that video quickly,
yeah.
how did these kind of skits come about? Is it just like off the cuff or something you
Yeah.
think of?
So I was like, you know what? I was like, I love making content on holidays. My holiday
Mhm.
content usually does really well. So I was like, I want to make some Thanksgiving content. And I thought like I remember like my mom, she would let us like we were allowed to have friends over for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Like, oh, you want to bring a couple friends? Okay. But every now and then, my brother would like be a little greedy and maybe bring a couple more people than she had said you could bring.
Yeah.
And people were always like filtering in and out the house growing up during Thanksgiving. Maybe the neighbor was like, "Hey Jenny, you want a plate? I made ham hocks, neck bones, collard greens." And my mom would be like, "Oh, okay, you want a plate? I got arroz con gandules, pernil, rice and beans, whatever." So there was a lot of that going on, and there was just like so much happening. So I was like, well, what do I really want to capture? And I remember the times when my mom would get mad that like, my brother might have brought too many people over, or maybe she already gave away 3 plates and this is a 4th. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna do a video about the mom that's like, I'm tired of seeing your fucking friend's face. So my mom was actually mad about that. She was like, I let you guys bring a couple friends over. I was like, yeah, mom, but you also got tired of seeing people's face sometimes. Like, don't sit here and act like you didn't want to see people's face, because I can name the people you didn't want to see anymore. She was like, So I was like, I gotta do that. I gotta do that content, because no matter what, they were gonna give them the food anyway. My mom would complain and give everybody a plate. Exactly. She gave out 100 plates out here, and it made her happy in the end. And if nobody came over, she would have been upset.
Exactly. There's always like,
somebody commented like, the day Josh don't come over, your mother have a heart attack.
And it's interesting because when you do little things like that, like the comments probably just flood. Just people like, oh my God, I remember that. But, for me, seeing that and just being able to talk to you, it's just seeing the genuineness in you, because it's very easy for people whose content gets pushed and pushed and pushed. Their whole attitude changes. So just seeing how you can talk about it, and it comes from experience. Of course, we got to give love to Mama Love. But
gotta give Mama Love
inspiration. But you didn't put the name in there. But I definitely felt it. But right now, let's take a little glimpse into these 2 videos that I'm gonna play. Then after that, we'll get into our last segment called The Randoms. We'll be right back.
Come on, Bobby, come dance with me. Come on.
I don't dance. I don't know how to dance.
What you mean you don't dance? Come on.
I don't really feel like it. I don't dance.
What are you doing? Papi, it's in the hip. It's in the hip.
Yeah, I don't really dance. I don't dance.
Listen here, motherfucker. You don't have to get rude, okay? All you had to do was fucking say that. Why you didn't just say that? Got yourself looking stupid.
Listen, I'm only going to tell you this one time. Come here at 6 o'clock, ready to eat. And I'm tired of feeding the motherfucking neighborhood. It's the same shit every year. Come here by yourself. I don't want your crusty little friends coming here sitting at my table eating all my motherfucking food. Tell them to go to eat somebody else's house this year. Every year, it's the same shit, especially Josh. I am so tired of seeing his fucking face. Don't bring him here today, because I'm going to say no. I'm going to close the door.
Yo, Ma, can my boy Josh come in the house?
Nope. I told you this morning.
No, but he ain't got nowhere to go.
I don't want him in my house.
Come on, chill. He could hear you.
I don't care if he could hear me. Let him fucking hear me. It's my motherfucking food he's trying to come and eat.
We got mad food. Come on, just let him come in the house.
This is the last fucking time.
It's the last time. For real.
Eat and get out. Yo, Josh, come on.
Oh my God.
I cracked myself up.
Oh my God, because the many times that has happened to me over the years, and then finally someone making some content relatable to that. Thank you, sincerely. But let me ask you this, kind of over the years from your initial start in content creation, and then fast forwarding till now, present day, what have been the lessons or some of the lessons that you've been able to learn over the years?
When you're ready for something. I've had people before I was doing skits reach out to me like, oh, you want to do the skit with me? And I was like, I don't do skits. I wasn't interested. It's not that I wasn't interested. It just wasn't for me at that moment. I wasn't there yet. So I would say, one of the lessons is like constantly checking in with yourself is really important. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Am I happy to be doing it? Am I enjoying doing it? How do I want to do this? How do I want to elevate this? How am I going to continue this? Like checking in with yourself is really, really, really important. Another lesson that I've learned is that you can't do something half-assed. You got to do it whole ass, double booty cheek in, because if you want to put something out there, you need to put something out there that you're proud of. And if you post it and it's not making you smile, then you should have done a better job. Don't be lazy.
Yeah.
And get it right. And I don't believe in like, this is good enough. No, it needs to be right. There is no good enough. Don't be lazy. A lot of times, you want to not do something. Maybe I'm like, oh, I don't want to edit that, or I don't want to do that. Like, no, I got to do it. I can't be lazy. It's right now I don't have a team. And in the future, I want to have a team. I want to just be able to focus on writing and acting in my shit. I would like to have a producer, making the shot list and I confirm it. I would like to have a director like holding the camera, letting me know when I got the shot. That way I don't have to do the shot, run back, watch it, like, I didn't get the shot. Let me check. It's so time consuming to have to play every single role. And, especially with editing, I don't really love editing. I don't love editing. As I'm doing it, it makes me laugh. Like, I laugh as I'm going through editing. So it's not that I hate it. There are times where I'm like, oh God, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
But there's also times where I'm like, I've heard this. I've recorded the same thing 20 times. Which one is the best take? I don't know. Which one, and like, I really don't like that. But that probably would not exist if I had a director to be like, we got the cut, in the moment. And I'm like, oh, okay, good. Probably have to do it half as many times. So yeah, I would say, a lesson that I've learned there is you have to be comfortable with doing everything and you can't be lazy. And, right now it's a one-man show, but in the future it won't be. But it's good that you get that experience doing a one-man show, because in the future, when someone does something maybe that you really like, you're like, oh, how did they do that? Or maybe something you don't like, you're like, no, I want you to change the keyframes like this. And having that experience, have done it yourself, what you want and you know how to do it. So you could give someone else the direction to do it better. Those are my lessons.
Definitely.
And patience is key.
That is very true.
Patience is key. Sometimes I'll write something and I'm like, okay, is it done? And I'm like, let me sit on it for a week, return to it a week later. I'm like, it wasn't done. I gotta be patient. I gotta, give my brain. It's like when you smell a bunch of different perfumes, you can't smell them anymore. You need to take a break. After writing for so long, sometimes you got to take a break and come back to it, and then you are able to like see it with new eyes.
Wow, love it. Just so informative, because many people don't realize content creation is not just point and shoot and happens. Don't get me wrong. There's been moments when somebody just creates a random video and it goes viral, but there's people that now who are content creators that now have a vision. There's a vision board up there. And like you said, you having that experience for so long doing it by yourself, now there comes a point when, hey, I think a team is necessary, because as it grows, you want to progress and you want things to become more constructed. So I definitely appreciate it and I love it. But now we are at our last segment called Randoms, which is
let's do it.
Questions. So my first question to you is, if you could have one meal right now, what would it be?
Lobster tails with stuffed shrimp and mashed potatoes.
Oh, right. I
guess
guess
that just popped into my head.
Sounds like a $60 plate right there.
Let's get it.
All right. Number two, if somebody is coming from elsewhere, not from New York, and they say, Jasmine, I want the New York experience, and they say, I want to go eat somewhere, where are you taking them to?
Ooh, that's a good one. New York experience. I'm gonna take them either bacon, egg, and cheese or some pizza. We're gonna get food on the go, because New Yorkers are on the go. We need stuff quick and it needs to be good. So I'm gonna get them food on the go to our next location of whatever they want to see.
Got you. So somebody says, Jasmine, hey, I want to go to the Bronx right now. What is a place you're taking them to? And what is a place you probably want to avoid?
The Bronx. You know what? I'm gonna take them to Fordham Road.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show them the Bronx shopping experience, And where am I avoiding? I'm probably gonna avoid I don't know. Because I That's interesting. I don't know. There's no place. I guess I wouldn't take them to the hood. Like I'm not gonna take them around Hunts Point. You know, I'm not gonna take them to the back of Hunts Point.
Oh my God.
But maybe I'll take them to Southern Boulevard and see the shopping places and Orchard Beach. But you know, not to the hood.
Oh yes, no, because the reason I even said that because you talked about Hunts Point. Side note, I used to teach across the street from Spofford. And that Hunts Point is really not the best for
Across
a person
the
who's
street from
visiting.
Spofford. Is
Yes.
that? Tell me what block? Because I think my
I will get it for you, but I know there was a dance school that I used to teach at literally right across the street, and it was very 8, 9 o'clock.
was there a park directly across the other street?
Yes.
Was it like park, school, and then the
Yes.
buildings?
Yep. That whole.
I used to hang out in the building across the street from that school because that's where my friend at the time lived.
Because there's a bodega right across the street from there.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right
it's rough over there. It's rough over there.
Oh.
I didn't know that was rough because I was hanging out with my best friends at the time, and you know, as a kid, you don't know. If you living in the Bronx your whole life, nothing seems bad to you.
Exactly.
It's just like this is just the area.
I appreciate that. So number 4, Jasmine, for you, this is a question for you, and it goes like this: if Jasmine isn't content creating, she is doing blank.
Ooh, listening to music, makeup, meditating, working out.
That you got a whole tribe. You got like
I have a million things I like doing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
What number 5? What is the biggest misconception about New Yorkers that you've heard?
That we're rude and mean. I think we're very nice and generous. You know, we might not be sweet to you. New Yorkers might not be very sweet, but I feel like they're very generous. You know, I might be like, bitch, you looking hungry. I'm gonna buy you a burger. You know what I mean? Like I might insult you, but then maybe I'll do something nice. And I guess growing up in the Bronx, I've seen people be very generous while not having much and give to other people that don't have as much and make the best out of the little things that they do have. And yeah, I feel like, we might not be the nicest compared to some other places, but I think we're kind and genuine and, generous.
Okay. All right. Number 6, if you could collaborate with any content creator, whether you've done it before or haven't done it, who is that person?
Oh, this is a good one. What is the content creator that I would collaborate with? I really like Lily Singh. Lily Singh. She's so funny to me, and her skits just get better with time. She's like a huge inspiration of mine. I loved her book, How to Be a Boss, and like she posted a video today about how like parents throw their kids under the bus and are under the influence of like family members.
Yeah.
She's like, does your parent change their mind? And it was like done like a pharmaceutical commercial. It was mad funny. I love her skits. I think she's hilarious. Like Lily Singh for sure.
Okay. Number 7. This one's going to be a little more introspective. If somebody says, Jasmine, one day I want to become a content creator, can you give me any piece of advice before I go on what I should be looking forward to?
Stay true to yourself and create for yourself. Don't get caught up in your comments, whether they're negative or positive. Like you could have 50 million positive comments. Don't get gassed about it. Don't actually, you can appreciate it without caring so much that it impacts how you create. And you have to continue doing what gets you a seat or what gets you noticed, So if you gain a big following and people really love your work, just continue doing what you're doing. Don't stop and think like, oh my God, well, what do they want to see next? No, let me just continue doing what you're doing. And that is like, I would say the number one thing to continue to create for yourself, and don't get wrapped up in the comments, whether they be good or bad. You know your worth. And no one else is going to tell it to you.
Perfect. Number 8, we're going to throw a softball one at you. Favorite color?
Yellow, orange, brown. Ooh. I have a lot of favorite colors at the moment. Yellow, orange, and brown are like really calling to me. I've been really feeling brown. I've been buying a lot of brown shirts in every different shade of brown, the same shirt. So I would say brown.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. Number 9. What is one of your favorite cities that you've either been to or would want to go to in the future?
Okay, so I'm thinking outside of New York, of course.
Hmm.
I'm thinking Miami
Okay.
or New Orleans. I
Oh, yes.
really, I'm gonna have to say New Orleans takes it. I love New Orleans. I
You've
went
been.
during Halloween time with my girls on a girls trip. Crazy.
Oh, yes. I'm very, very connected in New Orleans, and especially Halloween time, Frenchman, bourbon,
Yeah.
craziness. Especially like the Brazilians out there, they just play music. It's crazy, but
Yeah,
I
I
love
love New
that.
Orleans.
So that's a great connection that we have there. New Orleans is amazing. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
Miami's dope, but from people who I know live in Miami, they hate it now because there's just
Mm,
so many people coming in, and it's not the
yeah.
same feeling. But don't get me wrong, Miami, just anywhere in the South is pretty
Yeah,
good right
yeah,
now
yeah.
with all this cold.
Well, I wouldn't say anywhere in the South because I ain't
That
gonna
is
front.
true.
Like, I'm low key scared of the South. And I'm light, but like just the
I know.
ideas over there get me a little
Yeah.
shook. So I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
but
Mm,
New Orleans, I do like, and I like
mhm.
Miami. I have not really been to too many other
Yeah.
places in the South. I've been to North Carolina and I've
Okay.
been to Mississippi, but like rural in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I haven't traveled too much actually in America.
Gotcha. Wait, but I definitely see that in your future. And now our last question. And this may be a foreshadowment, but if Jasmine has a show on
Which
Netflix,
I am gonna get.
what is the title of that show?
Oh, I have that information. The show is
Ah.
written and it's called Concrete Dreams.
Oh, okay.
Copyright. See,
Co-
boom. TM.
Copyright. It's right here. TM circle.
Yes, yes, yes.
But
Concrete Dreams.
I love it. And so, can you maybe give us a little bit of a description on what we could see in that?
Yes, I'll give you a little bit of a description. It is about someone just like me. It's a little bit autobiographical. And she is balancing. She's a first generation college student that broke the cycle, and
Mhm.
now she's in like this world of balancing her family, her work, and her desire to, create her own path. So
Yeah.
she's worked so hard to do this thing of breaking the cycle. And now that she's done it, she's actually like, this sucks. And she has to figure out her own path.
Wow.
It's
Man.
a dramedy. It's mad
Oh,
funny, and then there's some heated moments. But it's a dramedy.
well, I tell you this, I'm definitely looking forward to it because I
Yes.
know what will happen. And
Thank you.
honestly, I thank you for doing this segment. And
Mhm.
it now helps us transition now to the conclusion of our talk. And
Yes.
honestly, Jasmine, from start to finish, I've appreciated every moment, understanding who you were before Slay with Jazz, before just the IGs, the TikToks, the
Hmm.
YouTubes, and everything. Just really understanding you as the person because on my platform, I love the success stories, but we need to know how we became that because we
Yeah.
realize there's a whole bunch of experience and journeys you've been through. But I sincerely appreciate your time today. But before we do go, I would love to know if you had any last few words for myself and the audience.
Thank you so much. First, I really
Absolutely.
appreciate you inviting me onto the podcast. Um, I just love talking in general, and I love meeting new people. So I really appreciate meeting you and hearing more about your story as well. And I want to continue to plug my pages. Go to my
Yes.
TikTok, Slay with Jazz. Go to my Instagram. My Twitter's a little weak. I'm working on that. And I also want to plug OPEC South Brooklyn. I just made a commercial for them with Dr. G. And yeah, go check them out if you are, starting on your fitness journey.
All right. And definitely check out
Oh,
more.
pause, time
Yes.
out.
Mhm.
I also, this is like a long shot, but if anyone out there could assist, I am looking for an agent. Um, I already have, my pilot done. I have my season outline done. My show is done. And yeah, I'm looking for an agent to show it to someone. So if anyone knows anyone, holla.
Absolutely. And definitely here at the Live Discussions with Diamond podcast, we fully support you and definitely be helping look for that as well. But Jasmine, I really thank you for your time on this chilly Saturday
Yes,
afternoon.
for real.
As we call in New York, it's brick.
It's
So
brick.
It's brick out here, but we outside.
We outside.
But Jasmine,
Love
I
it.
really thank you for your time. I know you're a busy woman. I think everyone that's tuning in, that will tune in, this will be on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify. This is episode right now, to correction. This is episode 162. Yes, so
You're working.
we're looking forward to in the future. I'd love to have you back on. Just catching up with you, seeing what's new. Maybe do this in public, really vlog
that'd
it
be
out.
fun.
So
Mhm.
maybe in the works. But I thank you, Jasmine, for your time. I thank everyone for tuning in.
Thank
It's been
you.
another special episode. We're back, 162 episodes and counting. Thank
Get
you,
it.
everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
Bye.